How are we doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and this is my Hashashin's pre-awakening PvE skill rotation. Just to let you guys know, I'm currently 265, and this rotation will be successful in Archman's, Hysteria, and Trees. It may not be the most optimal, but like I said, you will have a lot of success using the rotation that I will be mentioning. Now, to start off with, we're going to go through our buffs. You're always going to be wanting to use that simple cron meal to get that monster AP of 30, 20% bonus to EXP, 10% bonus to your skill points, 2 attack speed on your profile, 3 movement speed on your profile, 2 crit on your profile, plus 150 HP. You get an extra 5% down attack damage, and you take 6% less damage from monsters. Now, if you got some survivability issues, instead of using a giant drought for your elixir, you would like to use the beast's drought, because that will give you some HP recovery on hit. But if you want to do max damage and DP isn't an issue, Giant's Drought's going to give you a bit more effectiveness on your class, giving you an all AP plus 10 and HP plus 150. The main one here, special attack damage plus 10%. That's your back attacks, down attacks, critical hits, any kind of special modifier does an extra 10% damage. You get another 3 movement speed on your profile, along with 3 crit on your profile, which will take both your movement speed and your crit to the maximum plus 5, and you will get 200 extra stamina, which is quite useful on the Hashashin. He is a bit draining on the stamina when you're just using his pre-awakening movement. And finally, we're going to have the Villa buff. All AP plus 10, all DP plus 10, HP plus 200, you gain 10% resistances, and you gain 5% ignore resistances. Once you got your buffs, we need to talk about skill add-ons. I'm definitely probably still going to mix and match some other skill add-ons, but this is what's working for me now in just in mind just for PvE. Definitely want different skill add-ons if you want to do more a PvP focus build. And also the monster APs you see here, I've got 2. They don't stack, but the reason I've put 2 on, it makes it very easily for me to apply these buffs at any time if Haladi's Assault is on cooldown, because the Haladi's Assault does have a higher cooldown. Now, obviously there's no awakening, so we're going to start with the Haladi's Assault and the pre-awakening. We've put the monster AP plus 20 for 8 seconds on that, and attack speed plus 4% for 5 seconds. On Tail Cutter, we've applied a monster AP of 25 for 8 seconds and accuracy plus 4% for 12 seconds. Tail Cutter is a really easy one to apply your skill add-ons, as you can spam it off cooldown as well. And finally, Quicksand, we've put a crit hit rate plus 10% for 9 seconds and an accuracy plus 3% for 9 seconds. I might change this one because Quicksand is only used on very specific packs. I'll get through why that is when we go through the skill rotation. Now, at a quick glance, if you notice, there is no Quicksands in the Hashashin skill rotation. There is a reason for that, but I'm going to go through the core skills. These are the core skills that I use on every single pack. I do use Quicksand, but that's more of an initiation if I have to wait for mobs to group up, and I'll be going through that a little bit later on. So, once the mobs are grouped up, these are the skills you're going to be using. So you're going to be starting with the Sand Divider, which is back B, and during the animation, you'll be holding right bumper to flow right into Sand Slicer, and then you're going to let go of right bumper, obviously, and just tap back and right trigger for Haladi Throw. These are your first 3 initial skills when the mobs are grouped up or almost grouped up. You can still do this if they're not quite grouped properly yet as your initiator to activate your 3 buffs. The reason is the Sand Divider gives you an accuracy buff, the Sand Slicer gives you an attack speed buff, and the Haladi Throw gives you an AP buff. Once these 3 skills are done, use your quick slot skill, which is Owl's Breath. This is really important. This is a huge amount of damage over time, and you need to activate this skill to be able to kill mobs efficiently. Now, as the animation is going off for Owl's Breath, you want to hold left trigger and left bumper for it to cancel into Chosen Blade. If you put Chosen Blade on your hotbar, it will not cancel. So please keep that in mind. To cancel into Chosen Blade, you need to press the button combination of left trigger, left bumper. Just be holding that as your Owl's Breath is going off. And then when the skill animation starts, just immediately hold B, and as soon as it can cancel, it will cancel with Hourglass of Defiance. Once Hourglass of Defiance is procced, you'll then just keep holding B and then press forward on your left stick. That will take you to Haladi Assault. This also applies a 20 debuff to the mobs. Once the animation is finished, you'll have to turn your camera around and quickly press left trigger, right trigger to activate Ridge Reaver. You need to be quick on this because if you do it quick enough, you'll have an animation cancel at the beginning, making this skill significantly faster. If you're not quick on the button presses, you'll end up doing a slow version, which is obviously not optimal for clearing. Now, during the animation of Ridge Reaver, just hold A so it quickly flows into Owl's Dominion. Owl's Dominion is a really good damaging skill, and whilst Owl's Dominion is going off, you're going to be holding right trigger again to take you into Paradise Beckoning. Really good damage. It's got 100% crit on the skill as well. So once that's done, hold B, and this will teleport you to the Sandstorm, and then hold right trigger again for another Paradise Beckoning. Paradise Beckoning does not have a cooldown, but it can only be used after specific skills. One is your Hourglass of Defiance after you teleport to it, and the other one is the Owl's Dominion. After these two skills, you can activate Paradise Beckoning by holding right trigger. Now you need to understand that when you press B to teleport to your Sandstorm, you need to be looking in the direction of the mobs. You come out of the teleport in the same direction you're facing. So make sure that you are facing technically away from the mobs if the Sandstorm's behind the mobs to be able to pull this skill off. I'll try and put that in the background as well for you guys to visually see what I'm trying to say. And we will be going through the skills one more time slowly just a bit later on in the video, in-game, in practice. And finally, I just end with Absolute Descent. All the mobs should be dead at this point. If they're not, you want to do filler skills. Good filler skills to do. Purge is one of them. Remember, after Purge, you can also hold A to activate Owl's Dominion, and then hold right trigger to activate Paradise Beckoning as well. Another good one is Rupture. And again, you can hold A for Owl's Dominion and right trigger for Paradise Beckoning as well. So those are good filler skills to finish off the mobs. Just note that Rupture does push the mobs back, so make sure they're pretty much in kill range if you use that skill. I'd use that as like my execute skill if the mobs are still alive. And you can always use Haladi's Assault, Tail Cutter, Sand Slicer, and Sand Divider, depending on how much HP they have. These are faster skills that can also kill the mobs if they're low as well. The first two skills I mentioned are higher hitting skills, so you'd want to use that if they're a little bit higher health, and that one skill will execute them. So as you can see here, I've significantly slowed this footage down just to go through step by step everything we talked about earlier, and just show you it's in practice how it would look like, how you need to position yourself. We're in Histria for this example, and right now we're just going to be using the movements, Haladi Assault, and Tail Cutter to go through the mobs, apply our skill add-ons, debuff some of the mobs, and get into the position that we want the mobs to group up in. So as you can see, this pack takes longer to group up. So we're going to start with the initial Sand Divider, Haladi Throw into the Quicksand, doing some buffs to ourselves, a little bit of damage, and activating our skill add-on whilst we wait for that Elton. There is a couple of packs in Histria that you can start your rotation with these skills. Once the packs are grouped up, we're going to Haladi Assault right through them with the forward B, reapplying our buffs, skill add-ons, and DP debuffing the enemies. Then we're going to reapply some more buffs with Sand Divider into Sand Slice into Haladi Throw. Once that's done, use your hotbar to activate Owl's Breath. Hold left trigger, left bumper during this animation to cancel into Chosen Blade. Hold B to cancel into Hourglass of Defiance. Hold forward and B to cancel to Haladi Assault to debuff and rebuff. Then you're going to turn around, Ridge Retriever into Owl's Dominion, into Paradise Beckoning. Turn your camera, press B to activate Hourglass, and hold right trigger to Paradise Beckoning again, and then finish them off with Descent. Pretty effective. However, there are some cooldown restrictions, so it's hard to do this on every pack. You'll have to free flow from pack to pack when not all your cooldowns are available. I will be showing this in a VOD that I have a little bit later on, a full 1 hour grind in Histria to show you guys how I grind high-end zones just using the pre-awakening, and I've had pretty good success. I pulled 3.2 thousand trash in the 5 Elton rotation, which is pretty much the cap. The cap of 5 Elton is between 3.2 to 3.3k with a loot scroll. So that was really, really good. I might be able to pull a little bit more, if maybe around 3,300. If I'm lucky, 3,400 if I refine the process a little bit better, if I was to go to the Black Shard rotation. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, I'll be doing something similar to this when the Awakening comes out. And I'm not going to be making another pre-awakened video for PvE on the Hashashin. I will be waiting for the Awakening. I'll do an initial Awakening video of the skills that I use. If in the Awakening I find there's a better rotation of skills for clearing high-end zones, I'll make another video on that later on too. Guys, if you like the content, if this is helping you out, please consider subscribing, leave a like on the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.